memberships are a retention business. They're not just about getting that initial sale. You need to keep people subscribed and keep getting that sale month after month. Your member onboarding is going to play a huge part in that. So today I want to share with you 4 of the essential elements every new member onboarding process should have. So, as we said, memberships are a retention business. It's not just about getting that initial sale. You need to keep getting that sale month after month, year after year. And so marketing beyond the sale and really paying attention to your member experience is a key part to those long-term member relationships. And it all starts day 1, minute 1. The second someone joins your membership, the clock is ticking. And so what happens within those first few minutes, first few days, first few weeks of someone joining your site is pivotal in terms of the effect that it can have on someone's likelihood to actually stick around long term. During that initial window, you need to make sure that you're getting people into the habits that are conducive to long-term membership. So getting them consuming content, logging into your site, getting results, getting wins, taking part in your community. So I want to talk about the 4 key essentials every new member onboarding process should have. So the first is a warm welcome. The first page that somebody sees after they have signed up to your membership should feature you or your team giving a nice, warm, excited welcome to your website. So that can just be a welcome message, but ideally you want some sort of video where you are welcoming someone to your membership, thanking them for taking the step, taking the leap into joining your community, introducing yourself because they may not already know who you are. Maybe they found your sales page via Google or via a referral, and they know a little bit about your membership and what it can do, but they don't necessarily know you as the person running the show, as the founder, the person they're going to be learning from. So that warm welcome goes a long way to, well, first of all, making people feel welcome, but also validating that they've made the right decision, that they've found somewhere that is welcoming, where they can feel a part of a community, and it'll get them excited to get on the track of actually starting their journey within your membership. So the first thing you need is a warm welcome, ideally a nice, friendly, vibrant welcome video. Show that you're excited, that you appreciate the fact that they've chosen to join your membership site. That's the first thing. Bare minimum, every membership site should have that. The second, you want to provide some form of orientation. This is about making sure you're not leaving people to their own devices. So you want to make sure you have some sort of tour video, or even an interactive click-by-click tour that will literally take people through all the key sections of your site. You need that orientation to show people where everything is, how your site's laid out, how to actually use your site. If their first hour or so of being a member of your site involves them needing to try and figure out where everything is, how the courses work, where they need to go to update their profile, how they join your community, if they're figuring that out and they need to get to grips with your site of their own volition without your assistance, that's not what you want your new members doing. That's busy work. That's stuff that you can really help them with a quick tour video where you do a screencast and you narrate as you take them through all the key sections. Absolutely essential. Third thing is you want to provide them with some initial action steps. So think about the ideal first 4 or 5 things that in an ideal world, every member would do in your site in order to get them off to the right start, in order to get them into that habit of doing the things that will make it more likely that they'll get results, that they'll use your membership. Because guess what? If someone doesn't use your membership, they won't pay for it for very long. So you need to start those habits right off the bat. So think about the first 4 or 5 things that are going to do that. It might be getting people to introduce themselves in your community. It might be having them complete a really short new member questionnaire that actually gives you some information to go on so you can go back to them and say, based on what you're here to do, we recommend you start with this piece of content. We recommend you start in this place on the site. So you're giving people that starting point that again helps them hit the ground running. Maybe it's getting people to set up their profile, to upload a profile picture, or maybe to book in a quick 10-minute introductory one-on-one call with you or your community manager, where again you can have that conversation and drill down into what they need. Now, the details of what those first 4 or 5 ideal initial action steps are will differ from membership to membership. It depends on what you've got going on in your particular site. But have a good think about this. If you could control the actions of every person joining your site, what are the first 4 or 5 things you would absolutely make sure everybody did that you know are essential to getting them off on the right track? And then take those action steps and actually present it to them as an activity that they need to complete. So this can be a basic checklist. It might even just be a PDF that they download, or a list of steps that you send them in their first email or further on the welcome page. It might be a little fancier than that. It might be an interactive checklist, some sort of roadmap, something that gives them those first steps, maybe a new member course that everyone has to go through. So that's the third thing. Map out your ideal 4 to 5 initial action steps and then present those as an activity that every new member needs to complete in order to get them off to the best start. And then the fourth element is a follow-up campaign. Within that initial month, you should be following up with all your new members by sending them a dedicated onboarding email sequence in which you give them tips on how to get the best from your membership. You check in with them a week or 2 after they've joined just to make sure that they're settling in okay, to give them the opportunity to ask you any questions. You point them towards key content or features that they may not have yet stumbled across. Or maybe you give them a little unexpected bonus, something that is going to take them by surprise, and it'll be a very nice surprise. But those initial emails you're sending out, again, they should all be geared around ensuring everyone's settling in, ensuring that they're not having any problems, frustrations, technical problems, and helping them to get off to the right start, start getting some results, start getting some early wins, and giving them pointers on key elements of your site that is really going to help them. And as you get towards the end of that first month, then the emails you send, they need to change a little bit in terms of tone. So you can start actually talking about what's coming up. So if someone reaches the end of their first month and they're trying to decide, am I going to stick around? Is this a membership I want to stay with long term? Up until that point, all they've got to go on is what they've had so far. But if you start telling them via email and via your dashboard and other parts of your membership, if you start signposting the future value in your membership, so you're talking about the courses that are coming up, the guest experts that are going to be coming in to do webinars next week, next month, a month or 2 down the line, features that you're working on, all this great stuff that's in the pipeline, then that decision over whether to stay or leave is not only going to be based on what they've had so far, but it's also based on what they would then miss out on if they decided to leave right now. And that can be a game changer. So to recap, the 4 essential elements every new member onboarding experience needs to have. Needs to have a warm welcome, ideally a welcome video from you and your team, showing people you appreciate them, welcoming them to your community. You then need an orientation, whether that's a tour video or an interactive tool that actually literally takes them click by click through your website. You then want those initial ideal action steps that you will have everyone do that gets them off to the right start and gets people into the habits that will be conducive to them staying long term. And then you want to complement all of this with a dedicated new member email sequence that sends essential information and check-ins and all that stuff throughout the first few weeks of someone being a member. All right, so if you don't yet have your member onboarding in place, or if you've got a little bit of what we talked about, but you know that it needs beefing up, then those are the 4 key elements you need to make sure that you implement into your onboarding. And once you've got that foundation in place, you can build on it and build on it and build on it. You can do some really cool, really exciting stuff to ensure that your members are getting off to the best possible start and increase the likelihood that they're going to stick with you for months and years to come.